And we're live.
Perfect. Amazing. Hello, hello. Hope everyone's well, and welcome to our 30-second recurring Platform and Treasury Council meeting. So today is going to be a little bit of a shorter one. So we've got some of the team at East Denver, and yeah, so today we're going to cover just standard, governance initiatives, your platform developments, upcoming proposals, and if we can post the agenda into the chat, it's very much appreciated. So these bi-weekly meetings provide transparency into council operations. They offer proposers a forum to present directly to council members and the community, and they maintain consistent communication across our global ecosystem. So what are we building? The easiest way to say it is the Internet of Money. Imagine 7 billion people, they're all connected by mobile phones, yet unable to truly own or move money in the way that they own and move data. The Telcoin Association is changing that. They're establishing Telcoin Network and Tel as the blockchain and token standard for global telecommunications. So telecoms run the internet. With the Telcoin Network, they also process blocks, securing the settlement layer for digital finance accessible to every mobile subscriber worldwide. The platform architecture. So what does that look like? 3 integrated layers working as one system. The Telcoin Network, that's an EVM-compatible Layer 1 blockchain validated exclusively by GSMA mobile network operators, introducing an entirely new revenue stream for telecoms. The Telex side is the liquidity layer, enabling user-owned self-custodial asset exchanges. And then TAN. TAN is mobile applications connecting users to blockchain financial services and each other. So how is this run? There's 4 minor groups and shared governance. So the platform operates through equal stakeholders. Validators are the GSMA MNOs. They secure the blockchain and earn transaction fees. Liquidity miners, they're providing liquidity to enable decentralized exchanges. The developers, they're building the compliant mobile applications. And then stakers, users driving adoption and connecting payment networks. Each miner earns fees and tel issuance, aligning telecoms, developers, liquidity providers, and users across the value chain. GSMA validation rights scale to billions through existing infrastructure. Distributed ownership turns participants into defenders. Viral at launch, defensible at scale. So TEL, the native token. TEL powers the network as a gas token, a staking asset, and governance mechanism. Miners stake TEL to participate, earn fees from transactions, and harvest from issuance flows. Staked TEL determines both earning power and governance influence. So the democratic governance, the Telcoin Association operates as a Swiss verein with 5 elected councils. The platform and treasury councils hold global authority over platform-wide systems and token economics. We work alongside the TAN Council, the Telex Council, and Compliance Council. So our dual mandate is we oversee sustainable platform provisioning, planning infrastructure, and collective goods, and responsible TEL allocation, regulating token distribution for miners to harvest based on the productive contributions. I've been saying a lot, but why does this matter? So every single decision shapes whether we achieve our vision. Uniting GSMA mobile operators and billions of users around a shared blockchain infrastructure where money moves like data, accessible to every mobile phone globally. So our commitments there. As your elected representatives, we commit to thoughtful proposal reviews, consistent communication, transparent platform updates, and a faithful execution of governance framework that you've entrusted to us. So let's kick off. We'll do a recap of the last meeting. If anyone's missed the last meeting, there was some very juicy details. So Mainnet launch is imminent with our MNO validator nodes being prepared for installation. Node and setup and validation testing is underway. And DevNet stress testing continuing with all security audit findings resolved. 5 major areas require thorough security assessments before the mainnet launch. 4 are fully scoped. Security assessments will take longer than initially estimated, 3.5 weeks versus the 2 weeks. So this is for critical infrastructure like networking and execution layers. And then Ryan proposed a Tel IP for augmenting the Telcoin Association communications and marketing with services from the internal Telcoin marketing team, specifically ahead of Mobile World Congress in Barcelona on the 2nd to the 5th of March. So if we bring Grant on, because I think it's a perfect time, Grant, can you give us a few Telcoin network updates?
Sure thing. Thanks, Adam. Development-wise, this cycle we closed about 12 pull requests that were focused on production hardening, bug patches, and security improvements across the protocol. One of the major highlights and the significant progress on our database layer. Those changes address scaling challenges that are common across a lot of blockchain infrastructures. And we believe that this is going to position Telcoin Network with a really meaningful technical advantage. Steve has been leading that effort, and we're in the final stages of reviewing and just testing that code. And I think he's done a great job. So we're also testing direct peer-to-peer streaming. So basically these last 2 big features are just about complete. We're just thoroughly testing them. See, yeah, these are just major changes, and they address like fundamental aspects of the protocol, and basically they significantly enhance the production readiness. So once those database changes clear review and they're committed, we're ready to launch testnet in the data center environments with our initial cohort of MNO participants, and we're going to begin stress testing ahead of mainnet in the data center environments. So we're already seeing major improvements on DevNet and in local testing, and I'm feeling really confident that we're heading in the right direction. On another front, we have bridging. So we've received an initial scoping document from Layer 0, which is the final prerequisite before we can begin deploying bridges between Telcoin Network and other EVM chains. And that's a really meaningful milestone. Layer 0 is an industry-leading cross-chain infrastructure. They're making big waves. I'm sure that some people may have noticed that they just announced launching their own blockchain, and so we're really excited to partner with them and work with them as for the long term. They have a decentralized validator network structure that I think is really going to play nicely into for our validator set as well. There's just a lot of synergy across both projects. So yeah, finally, we have security audits, security assessments. So on the security front, we've resolved all the internal findings from our BLS cryptographic library. Right now, Denver is happening, and there's a lot of EVM, the top EVM security researchers in attendance. So we're actively coordinating that kickoff to kick that off, the next round of these audits, starting with the BLS library. Once things kind of settle down, we'll be able to start coordinating schedules next week. So we expect that engagement to begin very soon, as soon as we can confirm schedules between our team and the auditors. For this wave of security assessments, it's not so much about just having it done. It's also the background of the researcher, what their expertise is, and really finding the right minds to assess our code. So this is a methodical process. We're working through it in these final hardening steps before the testnet launch with our MNO partners. So as always, you can follow the detailed progress on the roadmap site. I was late on getting those updates out, so that will be posted after this meeting, but they'll be out soon. And we'll continue to report the concrete milestones every platform and Treasury Council meeting. So thank you to everyone. And yeah, at this time, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, no, amazing. There's some very, very juicy things in the pipeline there. We'll give it a second, see if there's any questions at all. To be honest, actually, was there anything anyone in the council would like to say as well?
I'll just say a huge shout out to Grant, Steve, and the rest of the crew. They've been smashing it. I mean, I'm quite fortunate enough to sort of be involved in certain parts of it, testing, nodes and other sorts of things. But these guys are really, really, really working at 100 miles an hour. So a lot more updates will be coming soon. There's a huge amount that they're right close to the finish line. So huge respect for everything I see every day that these guys are doing. So don't forget, you can check the GitHub out as well. There's a lot of there's some contributions going on there as well. I don't know if there's you want to maybe give a little bit more of an update, Grant, on some surprise kind of help that's been coming in there to help you guys as well.
Yes, we've had tremendous contributions from Tan Guide. The taxis, he's still one of our leading contributors right now outside of the Steve and I core protocol team, and yeah, it's been awesome because some of the features and some of the nice to haves we were able to kind of put out there while Steve and I focused on the mission critical aspects of it. So one of the biggest changes that we had support from was able to sort of really streamline our execution environment. It's a precursor to being able to support any sort of execution environment and really just future-proof the protocol in a lot of ways. It also is increases performance because we're not just writing empty data if there is no transactions now. And so ultimately, it was one of those design decisions where, it was nice to have, but if it wasn't going to stop us from launching mainnet, but that's the kind of things that we've been able to write out into issues and get feedback from the open source community and have meaningful pull requests and well-tested documented code. So it's been really exciting. It's definitely helped us here in this last stretch cover a lot more ground than we thought possible. So it's very exciting, and we really appreciate all the open source contributions and help from the community.
Yeah, absolutely. The community's help has been amazing, and I don't have that visual sight of that, but I know Nick, Grant, and many others do have and have had that. But so thank you, and if anyone wants to get involved, please do get in contact with Grant or Nick or any of the council, to be honest, and we can pass you to the right people.
Yeah, well, I've just seen a question come in from GSMCL. The question is, you say follow the roadmap, but the roadmap does not update daily. At least the date should update even if no visible changes. I'll just add to that. The roadmap is updated bi-weekly, and usually on today, the date of the platform and Treasury meeting. So it won't. The dates won't change daily on the roadmap site. But what will happen is that the usual practice is on the meeting like such today, after Grant has provided an update on the Telcoin network, we then go in and update parts of the roadmap. So if you scroll down the developer notes, there'll be a kind of overview of what's happened in the last 2 weeks. And there will be on the phases, especially the phase 2, current phase 2, there will be items. Some items are going to be added, new things that have popped into phase 2. Some will be marked off as complete. And all of this kind of rides into the phase 3, which it's kind of like a lot of it's happening together at the same time. So, but we've done our best to kind of break it down to provide some transparency for the community on what is happening in the background, because the devs are working at 100 miles an hour. So, the roadmap is there just to kind of help the community and provide some input. But you can also check the GitHub. The GitHub is the real roadmap, because that's updated, all the time. Whenever there's an issues added or resolved or PR requests have been put through, Grant and the team are working nonstop on the GitHub. So that's the real live, insight into what's happening with the development of the Telcoin network. But yeah, just to confirm, the roadmap site is updated every 2 weeks, usually on the Platform and Treasury Council meeting. And what we do is that Derek and I grab some information from the devs, from Grant and Steve and co, and then we update the roadmap site to reflect what's happened in the last 2 weeks, and also, you know, with things what's going to be happening, you know, in the next 2 weeks, so to speak. So yeah, it's not daily, it's every 2 weeks, and we have been consistently updating that every 2 weeks for quite a while now, a few months at least anyway, since the roadmap you know, page was put up. So yeah, I think it's great. You know, I think we've done really well to ensure that we do provide an update every 2 weeks. And I think it's really important that we continue to do that and bring consistency. Some updates will be bigger than others, but the point is every 2 weeks you can go on the roadmap site. And we did have a little bug with the top of the website where the date was kind of updating daily, which Derek actually fixed now. So you'll now only see the date change on the top of the roadmap site when we added notes for you know, for the developer notes for the day we update it. So yeah, yeah, and jump into any of the, you know, the official association Discord if you've got any questions, or even the unofficial Telegram groups. You know, any questions you've got about the roadmap site, please provide the feedback, or if you want some clarity, just ask. You know, a lot of us know exactly what's going on with it, and we can provide input as needed. Or if you can think of anything we can do better, you know, always let us know. But yeah, there we go.
Yeah, just to add to that, you guys absolutely smashed that. I'm always seeing on Slack just constant updates and different progressions. You guys are absolute workhorses. So congratulations, and R&R is definitely needed when everything has kicked off.
Yeah, just getting to that finish line. But it, you know, it's the devs. I mean, Grant and Steve have been absolutely killing it. We're just, you know, doing what we can to help them and make their lives easier. So anything we can do to assist them, that's what we're here for, you know.
100%. So just to move on then, if is there anything any of the other council wish to say or anything? If not, we'll go straight on to the open Q&A, see if there's anything. Otherwise, we'll start to wrap up the meeting for the next one. I'll give it a second just to see if anyone posts. No. Okay, so yeah, thank you everyone then for joining our 30-second council meeting. The next meetings will be on March 5th, March 19th, and April the 2nd.
Hey, 1 second. Sorry, a question just came in.
Oh no, perfect.
This is a more of a Grant question, and it's great because I think it speaks to the network. Question was, are we using cloud-based data centers, or what are we using?
So for there's a couple different networks that we have access to, and some that we're gaining access to. So initially, we have on we're calling it a DevNet, and essentially it is a cloud-based data center. We are manually deploying those nodes ourselves, managing the network completely ourselves. It is not decentralized, but it's an environment that is over the wide area network. It uses real internet connections between different servers. We have them geographically separated across the United States, West Coast, East Coast, North and South. And we also have some volunteers running nodes across the parts of the world. And now this is sort of like in our we call it the DevNet because it is not considered stable in terms of like a production level blockchain, where you know, when the blockchain is ready and we launch mainnet, it's expected to never go down. It's expected to stay alive forever. There's only one Genesis block. DevNet, we can reset a few times. We make mistakes, we stress test, we figure out where the pain points are, what we can improve on, and having it in this sort of distributed areas, it helps us to identify that and to kind of simulate real world scenarios, so to speak. But the next level for us is to be in actual data centers that the mobile network operators are running. And that is the big next step that we've been working toward. Those data centers are highly performant. They are expensive. They're very, very performant. They're very fast. There are several MNO partners, like some of the bigger, larger tier ones, have direct fiber optic networks between each other that can stream up, tens of gigabytes of data per second. So that is kind of the ultimate goal for mainnet, right? And that's where the mobile network operators are going to be running their validator nodes for Telcoin network mainnet. That in order to get to that step, though, we want to make sure that there are no we assume that there's going to be some sort of refactoring or some sort of getting into those data centers is going to be a different environment from the cloud-based data centers. And so there's a very good chance that there could be particular tooling that needs to be developed in order to better support validators who want to stake. There could be, configurations for latency. There could be additional security considerations such as, dynamic firewalls and things like that. So that sort of step is really important that we get testnet into the actual data centers that we plan to run mainnet on. And so that's kind of the big step. Now, in order to get into those data centers, there's a lot of permissions. They're very secure areas, and it's not exactly convenient to go in there and reset a server. And so one of the decisions that it was a tough decision to make was to initially delay that launch of testnet in these mobile network operator data centers until the protocol was a little bit more mature. And so finally, we're at this point where we've identified a significant number of outstanding issues. We've addressed all the security findings from our competition last summer. We have, throughout that process, we identified a handful of other areas that were not covered in that assessment that the protocol team was able to learn from that experience and identify ourselves. We've also increased a ton of tooling to catch those sorts of security concerns early on in the process and to address them immediately, because we're no longer trying to be feature complete. We're trying to be as close to 100% as possible. So with that in mind, I think we're getting closer every single day, and it is very much to the point now where I think it is stable enough. We want to get in these last changes for the database performance and just that network streaming, because those are the last two big areas that we found significant improvements for performance. And so we're finally at the stage where, okay, we think that we've got it working. We want to make sure that it's production ready now. And so we go back through with our fine-tooth comb and our magnifying glass and just really examine all of the corners that we can think of potential areas or bugs or potential vulnerabilities or attack surfaces. And so that's kind of the last step here. And that takes time because it is so critical. If you miss one, you could still undermine the entire system. So it's just it's a methodical process, but we've learned so much throughout these past 6 or 8 months and going through these audits in preparation for mainnet that I think we have a good checklist that we're going through here, and it is time well spent, because ultimately when we get to this next round of security assessments, our goal is to come out of there pretty much having stumped the researchers, right? That is the goal, is to go to these audits and feel like we are ready. We can't think of a single thing that could be wrong here, and then you give it to the professionals and see what they can find. So that's really what we're gearing up for, and it does take time, but ultimately it's one of those things where we can't afford to make mistakes. So really that's the big goal. So. Right now we're in cloud data centers, and soon we'll be in actual mobile network operator data centers.
Okay, amazing. We've got another question. Do we think showing up to MWC with anything launched will be a bad look? Without anything launched, I assume. 50 MNOs have yet to be announced, and there's no greater stage than MWC to showcase something being done.
Certainly, and that's the 50 MNOs being publicly announced is that was never part of our plan. That's something that we have experience with the GSMA. We go back for a very long time, and we have very strong relationships there. One of the things that we understand about our MNO partners is that they value their reputation and that they have a very successful business going. And so part of that is, caution when you enter new spaces like blockchain technology. And we respect that and we understand that, and we're being patient with that. But we have, a handful of mobile operators here that are ready to go in our data centers, and I think, we have here, it's the 19th. So, we have a handful of days left that we might be able to get something done. That was a personal goal of mine. If it will happen or not, I'm not sure yet. However, I do know that while we're out there, we already have several meetings lined up that we will be meeting with partners and other interested partners. So that MWC, while it may not, but while I agree it's a great opportunity to showcase and highlight an achievement, it's also a great opportunity for us to sit down and have the tough conversations and actually meet with these operators who are interested in the project but don't really know the team. And so before you go into an entire jeopardize your reputation, there's the enterprise has been kept out of blockchain for a long time because of the decentralized and anonymous nature of it, and those are strengths, but it is also can be difficult for a heavily regulated entity like a mobile network operator to jump in all in, right? And so we plan to be out there in full force, and we are going to be wrapping up some outstanding deals. We'll be meeting up with MNOs that are already on board, and then we'll be at the booth every day, all day, meeting new potential partners and exploring other synergies. So I'm really excited. I think it's going to be a really successful year, whether it's because we make a big announcement there or we wrap up and strengthen our participants. It's no matter what, it's going to be a great experience. We're going to walk away with MWC with a bunch of feeling victorious.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Also, for the MNOs, it introduces an entirely new revenue stream for those telecoms they've been trying to gain access into. So everything is essentially aligning quite nicely in that sense. But yeah, we know big things coming. 2026, the year of Telcoin. We know mainnet's coming. MNO validators are setting up, and the telecom blockchain standard is now becoming a reality. So yeah, good times. So we've got another clarification on data centers. So the data centers will be those of the MNOs vice off prime, such as AWS.
My understanding is that data centers will be those of the MNOs that are off premises, such as AWS. So no, that's currently we have networks deployed on off premise data centers such as AWS or Google Cloud or DigitalOcean, but AWS is not a mobile network operated data center, right? The mobile network operators operate their own data centers, and they are private, and they are very performant, and they are the backbone for their entire infrastructure, which is packet switching, voice and data packet switching, right? They're the experts in that. And so they have all their own bare metal servers, their own network infrastructure, and that's where the testnet and mainnet will be launched. And in that private infrastructure for the mobile network operators to operate alongside their existing infrastructure for data packets, voice packets, and now blockchain packets.
Yeah, and just to add, it's physical hardware going into their own data centers with their own infrastructure and the speed, etc. And it sits alongside, their data, their SMS stuff, their voice, and then you're going to have blocks, which will be these Telcoin network validators. So yeah, that's a key thing. It's going to be highly performant, very high standard of servers and connection in and out of the data center, which is something that's not really been seen before with blockchain, which is also very exciting from the performance aspect of it.
Yeah, absolutely. we'll give it another couple minutes, see if there's any more questions, or another 30 seconds to a minute, see if there's any more questions. And if not, we will go through the wrap-ups.
There's one more there. Will Telcoin have a technical support team for the MNOs?
Yes, we'll be working very closely with MNO partners as a core protocol team, and we'll also be it'll be a huge opportunity as an open source project and as a decentralized governance community for the MNOs to be directly involved themselves and to have a direct line of communication to not only the protocol team, but also the councils and the council members and the community at large.
Okay, perfect. I've got my screen open. I can't actually see the questions. So if there are any more,
No more for the moment. That was the last one.
No. Perfect. I'll give it about 15, 20 seconds and then I'll do a wrap up. Okay. Doesn't seem like there's any more questions. So yeah, thank you again for joining the 32nd council meeting. Can't believe it's been 32 already. So the next meetings, just to reiterate, March the 5th, March 19th and April 2nd. Again, this is the year of Telcoin. So we know all that's coming. There's been some very juicy info from not only this meeting, but the last meeting as well. So if you haven't listened to them, please go back, listen to them. They are on YouTube. It's accessible. Go on the Telcoin X account, the Telcoin Association, and yeah, get stuck in. But yeah, thank you again, and look forward to chatting with you all in 2 weeks.
Thanks all.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.